Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a very long time, I know. Today I am going to be building the house that I just moved into with my family. In case you guys didn't know, that's where I've been the last 2 months about, is kind of moving last minute and trying to get settled in a new house. So this house, first time building something actually real in The Sims, like trying to do exactly how a house is, because I've built houses from pictures before, but this is the first time where I was trying to make something exactly the way it is in real life, and it was a bit challenging. I kind of wish that we could build walls on like the grid, like half squares, and not have it absolutely have to be a full square. But so there are things that it's not quite exactly right. But I did my best, and it was interesting. I was trying to use the new platforms, and it just wasn't working out because the front porch stairs kind of have the corner for our stairs too, and I probably didn't mess with it as long as I should have, but I decided to scrap it and not do that. So a little bit about this house. It was actually the house that my cat is going into the litter box. You're going to pause and resume after she makes an awful amount of noise. Alright, well, she is done, but now she's eating food, and it's really close to where my computer is now in my new room. So I don't know if you guys can hear her crunching away, but I decided that we would just keep going with it. Funny thing about my cat Sunshine is whenever she has to use the litter box, she goes in, and if it's stinky, she covers it up forever, and then if she still thinks it's stinky when she comes out, she'll go back in and try to cover it up some more, which I really do appreciate, but sometimes it's a very time-consuming process, and it takes her forever. Okay, so back to the house. I can't remember what I was saying before all that happened, but I might just cut that out and start over. This house is old, so it was, I think, originally built in like the 1920s, 20s. My great-grandparents moved here from, I think, Pennsylvania, and they bought this property. I'm not sure if they bought the entire property when they first moved here, but my cat's staring at me. She's like, "Who are you talking to?" But it was about 80 acres, or now it is, that my grandpa owns. So they bought the property, they moved from Pennsylvania. I'm not sure what the house looked like right at the start, but I'm kind of assuming that the house was just like the dining room, kitchen, that back bedroom maybe, and probably just the one kind of half bath when they first moved here, and then I think the living room was then added on, and then kind of the back area, which is my bedroom. I'll get to that eventually. Okay, gotta move the cat because she's standing right in front of my screen. Can you settle down, please? Alright, so now I'm working on just kind of trying to get the sizing right, because at first I was like, oh, this is way too big, and then I tried to resize everything, and then I'm like, okay, now it's like half a square too small. So it was really challenging to try to try to get it to be really close to what I wanted it to be without it being too big or too small. So here I am. Yes, I know, kitty. You're mad. So basically, this is my room I'm working on right now, and it didn't have a closet. It wasn't actually a bedroom, but so where the little desk is on the far left, or I guess it would be north, that is where the old back door was. So it was just a hallway down to a back door, but the back door, it didn't really work. It would swell up in the winter months, and then you couldn't open the back door. So when we found out that we needed to move into this house, my parents kind of they had some people come in and close off the hall, so they put that wall in, and then they put the door from my bedroom into that area, and that's where my closet is. So my dad and I put up some shelves in there and some hanging space, so I would actually have a closet. And you can see it's really small. So this is basically I have all of my cat stuff. There's probably like another half square in between the litter box and the desk where I have my computer. So my desk is a little bit bigger, but my bed pretty much touches the end of my desk, and to get into my closet I have to push my gaming chair all the way under my desk. So it is very tight, and that's why I have my dresser and my bookshelf inside the closet. We purposely put the door where we'd be able to maneuver all of the furniture into the closet because otherwise I'm not sure what I would have done. But yeah, it's been really interesting trying to figure out how to fit everything into this house, because it's a little bit smaller. So basically the house that my parents were living in ended up with some structural issues, and this house my mom and dad inherited from my mom's aunt, so my great aunt. So they inherited this house, and it was supposed to be a rental house, but we hadn't had much luck finding anyone to move in. My parents hadn't really tried that hard. I don't know. I don't really know the reasonings behind it, but it's been vacant for a while. I actually, 2 years ago in 2018, I spent the summer repainting everything. We had a contractor come in, and he did quite a bit of work on it to just kind of finish it up and get it ready to be leased out. And I ended up doing all of the interior painting. So I pretty much painted every single surface in the house. It was quite the project. My nanny job kind of, because I was working as a nanny then, and in the summertime, the lady I worked for, she is a teacher. No, she was a teacher. I don't think she's teaching anymore. So I would have a lot of free time in the summer, and so I told my parents that I would paint it for them if they found a contractor to come in and do everything else. But I ended up finding the contractor, and that's a story for another day. It was a bit complicated, a bit interesting. I kind of fell a little in love with him, but it turns out he was dating somebody else at the same time, and it was a bit of a mess. So yeah, it's interesting living in this house because there are there are some memories here, because I was here painting and he was here doing work, and yeah. But anyway, it's yeah, it's been interesting. We've had a lot of plumbing issues, because the plumbing underneath the house, it probably wasn't even here when my grandparents moved here. They probably had it put in later, because we're outhouses. There are still some like skeleton of outhouses that they probably used. So the plumbing is probably, I don't know, 60 years old. So probably a week after we moved in, we had water coming up in the shower. We had sinks turning into fountains, toilets overflowing. It's been a little exhausting. And my dad is working a bunch of overtime right now, because one of his coworkers got fired, so he hasn't been around. So I've dealt with a lot of plumbers and all sorts of people, because my mom, we're trying not to let her be exposed to anybody, because she's going to be having hip replacement surgery in a couple of weeks, December 7th, so we're trying to be super careful, because she has to have a COVID test before that, and she needs to have this hip replacement surgery, because otherwise she's going to end up in a wheelchair. So I got to talk to, a lot of plumbers, and probably my least favorite thing is talking to people about things that I do not understand at all. But I guess I understand it a little bit better now than I do. So this house is really interesting because it has a lot of built-ins. So like in the master bedroom here, it's kind of swapped, but it's got a stack of drawers on either side of that middle piece, and then closets, and then big cupboards all the way across the top. And then the one in the living room, I go back in and modify it, because I'm like, it's just not quite right. I think I pull out the living room by another square and add some more cupboards. But it was actually something that my grandma, or my great grandma, designed, and then she tried to get a guy in to come and do it, and he was like, no, it's not possible to do what you want me to do. So she ended up doing it herself. She had like a woodworking setup, and she built that in their living room. She was kind of that kind of person. I think she would have been fun to know. I think I was like a few months old when, actually I don't know if I was born yet. I think I was a couple months old when my great grandpa passed away. But I think my great grandma passed away before he did, so I'm not sure that I ever met him as a baby. But yeah, there's this built-in thing in the dining room, which is interesting. I think the dining room should have been about half a square smaller, and the kitchen should have been about a half a square smaller. But since I couldn't do that, and it doesn't have any central heat or air conditioning. So it's got a wall heater in the living room and a wall heater in the dining room, and then we kind of have supplemental space heaters. I got this little heater that I mounted on the wall in my bedroom because there's no floor space in my bedroom to keep it 3 feet away from stuff. So I found a nifty little nifty little wall hanging heater. And this is my sister's bedroom. She ended up getting herself a full-size loft bed because she wouldn't have very much floor space either in her bedroom. So this is me trying to make it actually look like a locked bed and not just a floating bed. I ended up finding these things. And look how weird that shadow is. It's just like over the top of the bed is weird, but I decided I would just go ahead and leave it like that. The thing I don't understand when I'm building is I leave putting lights in until almost the very end, and I would probably have a lot more fun if I lit up the house before I put the floors and everything in, because it's kind of nice to be able to see. I'm messing with the roof. Over my bedroom, the roof is kind of weird. It sticks, well, it's super slanty on one side and higher on the other. Yeah, so I'm just kind of going through, doing some finishing touches. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever tried to build the house that you're living in The Sims. I would love if you have to like leave a link to the video if you have a video, or put it up on the gallery. Just tell me your experience of trying to build the house that you're living in, because I mean it was I don't know if it was fun. I don't know if I had fun with this build. I think I've been trying to build more unique things so much that I wasn't really impressed with this, but I think that's just because it's a pretty basic house. But I mean, I guess I'm living in a pretty basic house right now, so that's just the way it goes. Right now the living room does not look like this. We still have a ton of boxes piled up. My mom likes to knit and she likes to quilt, and so she has a ton of fabric and a ton of yarn, and there's not really anywhere to put it, so we're still trying to figure out the best way to deal with all that. We need to figure it out before her surgery though, so she can actually walk around a little bit better. And I don't know if you guys noticed the woodworking bench in there, but in the hallway there's a treadle sewing machine that my parents bought. Oh gosh, I don't even know how long ago it was that they bought it. But I don't think that anybody's ever used it, and I tried to get them to get rid of it before we moved because there's no place. So yeah, I had to move the house to a different lot because I was like, this is not big enough. When I started trying to do the yard, and then there's the little garage area over here to the, I don't know what direction would that be. Would that be west? Yeah, well here it's to the west, so I'm directionally challenged. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm kind of committed to living with my family until my mom has her surgery and has recovered. Just because if I move out and job search, I can't come back and help with anything, and so it's a little hard to know what to do, but I think I'm just gonna stay put probably until spring and then figure it out from there. Hopefully I will be mentally capable of planning by then. I've definitely been struggling a lot mentally. Just, I don't know if it's just because we were doing so much for so long and now it's slowed down and I'm just exhausted. But it's been, oh yeah, that path, it just goes along to the front of the flower bed, and then it doesn't go any further. It doesn't go out to the driveway, so you walk across the grass and then you reach the path and you're like, well, I don't know why they did this, but okay. Goodness. Alright, so this is when I decided I needed to pull out the living room one more. Definitely, that's how it goes. It's got like four big huge cupboards and then shelves all around it. And it's got a couple more cupboards, but I think I tried to do that and then it didn't work out. So, but yeah, I think I cut out most of my cluttering So you guys stick around for the screenshots for that, and I think it's just about wrapping up. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully I will be getting back to a more normal schedule soon. I appreciate you all so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.